What's up, YouTube? This is Mathos97, and welcome back to another episode of Smackdown vs. Raw 2008 General Manager Mode. And as you can see, episode 22, we've come a long way, and we're getting very, very close to SummerSlam. In fact, this is the last episode of ECW before we reach the SummerSlam pay-per-view, and that should be a good pay-per-view. Like I said, it's going to be the turning point in this universe mode. I can just tell. Our ratings are starting to go back up, our rivalries are looking spectacular, and I've already got some established for the next pay-per-view. So by the time we hit SummerSlam, hopefully that's when we start to turn things around and gain the advantage. But as you can see here, there's Raw's ratings. They're completely out of control. SmackDown's ratings is, I think we topped them in the last week. Okay, those champions are out of control, but whatever. So let's just get into our show where things make sense. We have this triple threat, John Cena, Sabu, and HBK, submission between CM Punk and Edge, Bret Hart versus Johnny Nitro, one-on-one, Randy Orton and Triple H teaming up in a tornado tag against Rey Mysterio and Batista, and the main event, a steel cage fatal four-way between Kane, The Undertaker, Bobby Lashley, and Mark Henry. So as you can see, Nitro defeats Bret Hart, and we got 3 here. I only want to play 2. I guess we'll simulate this one. And HBK gets his revenge on Sabu with the victory in the triple threat match. So let's go ahead and play this tag team matchup here, which, let's see who we're going to be. And it looks like we're going to be Rey Mysterio. Since this is Tornado Tag, we're not playing as both team members, but as we know, Rey Mysterio and Triple H have been embroiled in a bit of a rivalry, and the same goes for Randy Orton and Batista. So we're going to get a little bit of a tag team reunion here as we have Triple H and Randy Orton from Evolution, and then we have Rey Mysterio and Batista. They're former tag team partners, best friends, so we'll see how this tag team match goes down, and we'll see who can walk out with the victory here. And this would be a good chance to build some last-minute momentum before the pay-per-view, as far as building up towards your rivalries. I'm still not sure, because it's a pay-per-view where we're going to have either 1 or 2 matches. Probably 1, since we're the least, or we're like the lowest show. So it's going to be kind of difficult to be able to maintain all the rivalries through that pay-per-view. Hopefully you don't have to have them compete at the pay-per-view for the rivalries to continue. Otherwise, a lot of these feuds could probably just up and disappear. And that's not good, because our own ECW pay-per-view is like 3 or 4 weeks after SummerSlam. So, I mean, that's not going to be enough time to build up a super huge feud. But then I guess in that case, I guess I could always start building towards the next pay-per-view after that, which is Survivor Series, I want to say. Are we really that far already? I don't know. But anyway, big kick there from Rey Mysterio to the face as he goes up to the top rope here, setting him up for a frog splash into the cover here, but Triple H immediately kicks out. And so far, it looks like Batista and Rey Mysterio are in control as Triple H has Rey Mysterio off his feet there, but now Rey and Triple H both in a lockup, and Triple H, nice counter there, as Batista and Orton are there on the outside, and a big clothesline there from Triple H. But, I mean, so far, I think, as far as like the rivalries go, that Bret Hart Johnny Nitro one, I'm surprised it's getting the ratings it's gotten, because I haven't really done too much with that rivalry. I haven't, stepped it up to, a bit of a main event kind of rivalry. It's been more of a low-key sort of mid-card rivalry, and it's managed to go about 11 weeks, not too many stipulations. Like, I didn't have to bring in a parking lot brawl or a steel cage or anything like that. I mean, I've been putting them in mostly like singles, tag teams, triple threats, fatal four-ways, just kind of matches to keep other feuds going. I think I have put them in maybe a TLC, I think, once before, or a ladder or something, but those would be in like tag team, or I don't know. Like, I haven't done, as far as like all my other rivalries go, I think Bret Hart and Johnny Nitro has gotten the least attention out of the 3 weeks, or the 3 rivalries that have gone 11 weeks, which were the Cena HBK, this one between Nitro and Bret Hart, and then Kane and Mark Henry. And they'll be competing in a steel cage later on, so, something like that where it's a big name match, something like a steel cage. But even so, that match I ended up making a fatal 4-way, just to make sure we got some of our other superstars used on the show. And anyway, Batista now dragging Randy Orton he's got him up there on the ropes here, and this is not a very comfortable position. I'd feel bad to be Randy Orton right now, as Triple H goes over and saves Orton, and he had to. I mean, what choice did Triple H have? I mean, if you're caught in that position too long, you're not going to be able to wrestle in the match. But a roll up there from Ray, but a kick out by Triple H is now Batista, DDT to Randy Orton.
What a counter that was.
And now there was a low blow there by Randy Orton, so a little bit of payback there. And now Batista going after Triple H now, as Orton gets taken down with an arm drag. And Batista's got Triple H in the corner. Meanwhile, Rey Mysterio going to capitalize, trying to set up Orton here, positioning him for the 619. And now he just dialed 619. Now he could be looking to set up Orton for that Hurricanrana into the cover here. 1, 2, 3, and Rey Mysterio and Batista defeat Orton and Triple H here tonight. And I actually think Rey Mysterio was on a bit of a losing streak heading into this one. Hey, look, Jeff Hardy. Speaking of him, we should probably use him. I know there's been a few superstars who've been off the show in like 2 or 3 weeks. I think guys like the Hardy Boys, Elijah Burke, Chris Masters. I don't think there's any more. There might be like 1 or 2 more, but like just some of those superstars who we've really, because we've got so many feuds, it's kind of hard to get superstars like just sort of floating around like a Jeff Hardy or a Chris Masters or Elijah Burke to try and fit them into some sort of match. But we've got the 20 superstars, and it's also kind of difficult when you only have one title, so it's not like you can establish some sort of a tag team division to go after the titles, or maybe get like a triple threat or something for a like an intercontinental title or something. Whereas the ECW championship, it's your major championship, so you can't just throw out a random match willy-nilly. Unless superstars really like earn their way into that matchup, which is where you'd get some of your bigger feuds you can maybe collide into one to defend the championship, but you can't just, it wouldn't make sense to have your major title randomly defended with superstars who haven't really done anything. Like, if I would just randomly, tonight on this show, make it a triple threat, like Shawn Michaels, John Cena, and I don't know, Jeff Hardy or something, that wouldn't make sense because Jeff Hardy hasn't earned his way up there yet. And I'm just using Jeff Hardy as an example that could represent several other superstars in this brand. But anyway, we're now here with a steel cage, as it's Mark Henry, Kane, and Undertaker, and Bobby Lashley, I meant to say. But as you can see, Bobby Lashley, he was setting up Undertaker for those gut busters, but a nice swinging neck breaker from the Undertaker takes down Kane, and I believe we're playing as Mark Henry in this one. And I mentioned that in the last episode, where I'm always going to play as somebody because the gameplay is really not up to par, If you look at like WWE 2K14, the AI can actually carry a match by themselves. You can have a good-looking AI versus AI match, and it will have a pretty successful outcome. Whereas you do something like this, and they'll just kind of stand around and just kind of look strange, and it'll take a while for things to get going. In fact, I think they actually last a lot longer if you just do an AI versus AI. True, in this game, the momentum builds extremely fast, so a lot of finishers get hit. So they were finishers were, you could almost say they were kind of nerfed in this game, because you could hit them so often, but you had to hit so many before. Like, you can't just finish the match with a finisher, whereas you look more in the newer games, by the time you hit a finisher, chances are you could pin them successfully. Sometimes you don't always get them, like, I don't know. Sometimes you finish them by the time you get your first finisher, and sometimes, usually 2 finishers is enough to put somebody away offline, or not offline, but in 2K14. Whereas this one, because of how fast you can build momentum, you can build up like 2 or 3 finishers before you actually put them away, and you could hit like 4 finishers and they could still be fine. That's just sort of, that momentum bar is like really small, so it's really easy to build up. And, just sort of the things with this gameplay. The mode itself is also kind of broken, but people are always saying, oh, 2K should bring back GM mode. They could do a really good job with GM mode and all that stuff. But you have to think, with current day WWE, the video game is going to be somewhat based around that product. Now, you're probably like, they've done like Attitude Era and the 30 years this past 2 years. Well, what I mean, but like that was the theme of the game, where, you know, WWE 13, it was Live the Revolution, so you had CM Punk on the cover, but then you also had the Attitude Era, which went well with the theme of the game, and of course then you're going to have those superstars when you throw them in. But you do also have the current guys, and you have your universe mode still in the game. And then this year with 30 years of WrestleMania, I've heard a lot of criticism about 30 years of WrestleMania, just the mode, because, if people have played the matches and they know the outcomes and stuff like that. But I personally think it was a great job by 2K to have the 30 years of WrestleMania mode, considering it's WrestleMania 30 this year. I really think this was a great idea. However, if they would make a similar, like, the mode that you would use to unlock stuff, personally, I don't want to play another Attitude Era mode or a 30 years of WrestleMania. I mean, a career mode is something that people would always like to see, and I personally think that would be a great idea. It's something that you could easily do, and it would revolve around current-day WWE. Whereas something like a GM mode, I don't know, the brand split isn't in effect anymore, so unless you do something like, if they did a Ruthless Aggression game or something like that when the brands were split, like if they do a theme where it could revolve around a brand split, then that might work, bringing back GM mode. But if it's using more current day stuff, oh my god, what a German suplex by Bobby Lashley. But if it's using more current day sort of a theme, then I don't think GM mode is really the best fit for the game. But that doesn't mean that I don't like GM mode. In fact, this game right here, Smackdown vs. Raw 2008, is probably my favorite game so far in WWE, or with WWE games. I mean, I've heard from a lot of people that Here Comes the Pain was their favorite game, but me personally, I never really owned the game so I could sit down and actually play the game, play the story mode, the season mode, whatever you have it, the gameplay, the roster, all that stuff. And I'm not going to go back and play a game like Here Comes the Pain because the graphics are really out of date, and the gameplay is not nearly as good as 2K14. So I personally would not go back and play Here Comes the Pain. People say that's their favorite game, and they grew up with it, so I can understand that. But for me, 2008 was... Ooh, Undertaker just got the win there. But for me, 2008 was my favorite video game, so far anyway. I mean, 2K14 is pretty close, but 08 was... Fuck my cat, I'll be right back. Alright, I apologize for that, but my stupid cat was clawing at the freaking closet door, and it was really annoying. But Undertaker just got the victory in this steel cage match, and like I was saying, another reason why 08 was my favorite game up to date is that SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 really under-delivered, in my opinion. They took out GM mode. They had, 24/7, what was it? It was like a career mode, but the way they executed it was, it wasn't that good. They had tournament modes and stuff like that. They brought in Road to WrestleMania, which was okay. But then once you finished that mode, you really didn't have anything to go to. You could play career mode, but I mean, if you're going to make like a career mode, make it more like a story mode where you can incorporate cutscenes and stuff like that. But as you can see here, we got a 4-star overall show, 5-star main events. That's pretty good. I don't know if we have any superstars yet to build up in popularity, unless one of them freakishly drops like it happened to Jeff Hardy. We're going to maybe extend some contracts here, but anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Alright, so, like, if they made a career mode, that's one of the things that I like about Universe mode at the current time, is that you could play as one superstar, and you can get cutscenes and stuff like that. You can play your matches as one superstar, or you could go around and you could play every single match. You know, you have options of what you wanted to do. So, I mean, it gives you something to do, and while it's not the perfect mode, it is still a pretty good game mode. It can self-function by itself sometimes. Sometimes you have to go in and add your own spin to things, and you could do a little bit of both. That would be... I just think Universe mode, it's a really good, adaptable... What the hell is this tag team match? Rick Rude and Kenny Dykstra? I don't understand this game. That's part of the things why this mode is a little bit broken. Let's check out the card here. Stone Cold and Roddy Piper versus Crime Time for the World Tag Team titles. I believe that's a Raw match. Not even going to address this one. It's SmackDown, that's all I'm going to say. I haven't done that yet, but we'll have to figure out what I'm going to do there. Roddy Piper versus Umaga for the WWE Championship in a parking lot brawl. And the main event is the U.S. title match between The Rock and Rick Rude. I don't understand SmackDown's logic. That's why they're losing fans nowadays. But anyways, I do apologize earlier for the whole vulgar F my cat thing. That was kind of out of line, but I was just getting really annoyed. Anyway, so I'm going to have to figure out what match I'm going to showcase at the pay-per-view. But I've already recorded it, so you guys, if you want to leave some feedback, sorry. But I already recorded it, but I'm not going to spoil it. Anyway, so let's go ahead. No, I thought we were going to check out the rankings, but we'll save that for the next episode of GM Mode when we take on the SummerSlam pay-per-view. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Keep on YouTubing.